Welcome back. We're here with episode number 5 of the Keep Smiling podcast. I am here with my friend DJ, and today we're going to talk on the Philadelphia Phillies. Thank you for coming today, DJ.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, I'd like to just talk about the Philadelphia Phillies past records. We're going to start in 2008 with the World Series title over the Tampa Bay Rays. That lineup was insane. Brad Lidge, Ryan Howard, the Flying Hawaiian, Chase Utley. 2009, my Yankees, took it back. But again, that was even more of a monster of a team because they had Cliff Lee that year, right?
Yep, Cliff Lee had a big series. Utley had a big series, but that was the only two bright spots.
Oh, yeah.
Not October.
So then you won the World Series 08, 2009, lost in the World Series, 2010, lost in the playoffs, but still made the playoffs. NLCS, yes. 2011, lost in playoffs.
Yeah.
And then from 2012 to 2019, it's been between 17 and 31 games back as the lowest. But 2018 and 2019 have been 10 games back and 16 games back, and moving in the right direction. What do you think? It's been 8 years since playoffs, man. What do you think? I mean, we're moving in the right direction here. It's getting better. What do you think is going to help the Phillies get to where they need to be? And
I think they just need another arm or two. I think if they can, I'm not exactly sure what free agent pitchers are out there coming up. I'm pretty sure Stroman's a free agent. I'd love for them to grab him. And another big thing, they got to keep Real Muto. Their biggest priority right now has to be extending Real Muto. If they lose him, and if they lose him to a division rival, like let's say the Mets, that'd be devastating.
Do you keep the club option for Jake Arrieta for next year? 2021, because let's just say 2020 doesn't happen. Do you keep that option?
It depends if there's guys available that they can go grab. If there's no one like they can go grab, then I'd say Arrieta is better to keep around and have Velasquez and Pivetta both in the rotation again.
And then you got guys coming up, Spencer Howard, Alec Bohm. Do you think that they're ready to make an impact at the major league level?
Howard, I'm not really sure. It seems like he has a lot of good stuff, good command and everything. I don't think his velo is anything too special. I think his absolute peak would probably be a 2, which would be amazing because that's what we need. But yeah, and then Bohm I think is a monster. I think he can come up right now and mash. The only question is his defense. So if we can get a universal DH and throw him or Hoskins at DH, that'd be golden.
Because you got to put Hoskins somewhere, and I don't even know who's the current third baseman now. Would you say?
Segura was going to start the year at third.
Because you got Didi at short, you got Kingery at second, right? You got Segura at third, which can be replaced for Bohm, and then you got Hoskins that can also play first. Hoskins at first, and then you got Bohm that can also play first. I mean, your outfield's also set. You got right field locked down for the next 12 years.
12 more years.
12 more years of Bryce Harper.
Yep.
I mean, 2019 big signing. That's the only one that I feel that needed the highlight. 2020, you signed Didi. You took our shortstop, but happy to let him go. Sad to see him go, but I want to see what he's going to do in Philly. Hopefully for the Mets. Yes. But you signed Zach Wheeler. Where do you think he could be in your rotation?
I think he's a clear 2. Like, he doesn't have much competition. Like, it's just Nola, him, and then just kind of declines a lot from there. But Wheeler, they needed to sign. There wasn't many people out there. They weren't going to get Cole. The Yankees wanted Cole. The Yankees weren't going to not get Cole. And then Strasburg was going to stay with the Nats. So the next best guy was Wheeler. And they needed to add an arm.
Then you signed Joe Girardi. We saw it with Charlie Manuel, the old style managers. Okay. He led you guys to multiple playoff appearances. Now you got Joe Girardi, an old style manager. Do you think he could be that one that takes you over that hump and at least into the wild card or at least into the first round of the playoffs?
Absolutely. I don't remember what year it was, but when he was with the Marlins prior to the Yankees, and he took that team, I'm pretty sure they had the lowest payroll in baseball at that time. They weren't expected to do anything, and he led them to a playoff spot. So I think he can do it here in Philly too. And also, I think going from like a zero analytics to 100% analytics with Gabe Kapler wasn't the best thing for Philly.
Yeah.
None of the fans liked that. They all hated Kapler. I mean, personally, I wasn't that harsh on him. I thought he was a pretty good manager. He just a little bit robotic.
Great manager. Yeah.
Yeah, but
and I loved him getting thrown out and just a lot of heart. I'd rather the manager have heart and then be quiet on the bench.
Yeah, he always defended his guys. But I think Girardi's a great fit in Philly.
What people always say, or at least Met fans, when they come up and say, "Oh, we're better than the Phillies because they don't have a bullpen," or that their bullpen's a little bit weaker than ours. Now they just say that because they got Betances now and they had Diaz and Familia. Yeah. But you guys, here's what I see as a rotation possible for 2021, 2022, which I have Nola, Wheeler. If they pick up the Arrieta option, possibly him. And if they keep Velasquez, possibly him. They also have prospect Adonis Medina down in double A right currently.
For a while, I don't know whether to trust him or not.
Who knows? But then in bullpen, you can even move Pivetta to the bullpen as a long relief guy. You can
that's where he belongs.
Yeah, and then you could even put him as a 6 for someone that needs extra rest if you're going to let Nola go longer in games, which he should be. He had a down year 2019, but he can easily rebound to be a Cy Young candidate. And then you got guys like Sir Anthony Dominguez is going to build off of another average relief year. And then you got Hector Neris, the bulldog out of the bullpen. I mean, and Eflin can go in the bullpen too. I mean, what do you think? Because there's a few guys out there on the market that could possibly join the bullpen. But what do you think what the state of the bullpen is right now?
I mean, personally, I haven't really looked into the free agent market in the bullpen much because I feel like they have a solid enough bullpen that can get it done. Sir Anthony, I think, should be the closer. I think you give Neris the setup role because, I mean, he's been holding it down. He's been there for so long, and he's kind of inconsistent, but when he's on, he's really good. And then if the season were to start soon, I know David Robertson was aiming to be healthy by the All-Star break, so he'd be a great seventh inning guy.
He would be back for the full second half. You have him for the playoff push.
Yep.
A fan of our show came in and said, and I quote, "I can tell you off the top of my head, the Phillies had the 4th lowest ERA in the second half of the season."
Yep.
Out of the pen. That's pretty darn good out of 30 teams. Okay. You add that with a positive record. I mean, I think they could do damage in the NL East.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Braves are a little shaky. They don't have a lot of playoff talent. Not a lot of playoff experience. They had last year. They didn't show. I don't know. I don't want to say anything wrong here, but they lost. So as the Phillies are right now, do you think they have what it takes to go far in the playoffs with their roster as it is right now?
Yeah, I think they could. I think if all the bats click, I mean, besides April last year, their offense was kind of silent. I mean, not really silent, but not producing as much as they should have. But if they played like they did last April, Segura was firing on all cylinders. Kingery, Hoskins, Harper, Realmuto. That middle of the order was dangerous last year. If they can repeat that and keep that going for a whole season, I think they got a good shot.
I do too. And then defensively, okay, are you worried about Bruce out there for you guys? Because he's got a big ballpark to deal with out in left field. It's a big plot of land out there at Citizens Bank.
Yeah, I think the hope is that the universal DH comes to the NL, and you can move Bruce to DH, and then you can give Adam Hazley a shot in center field, and then Kutch to left and Harper and right, and I think that'd be perfect defensively. Bruce could be kind of a hazard out there.
Yeah, he could very much be a hazard. And if you have that universal DH, you can give Harper rest days. He could still be in the lineup getting his reps in. You could put Bohm at first. You could put Bohm at third even and platoon him across the diamond, because me as just a baseball fan, I want to see Bohm up.
Me too.
Like, again, if he's not ready, he's not ready. But him up could be one of the best things for the Phillies, to have some more young blood pushed into the line, kind of almost forced out into the line. But we don't want to rush the talent. Don't want to rush it. But then like moving forward, okay, your competition. I want to hear your thoughts on like the Braves and the Mets coming from a Phillies fan. I've never got I never got a chance to interview a Philly fan before. So
Yeah, honestly, I think the Braves are obviously still very scary. They still have a very dangerous lineup, even though they lost Donaldson. They gained Ozuna. I forget the name of the prospect they have coming up at third base, but I've heard
Riley,
a lot of things about him. Who?
Austin Riley.
Maybe it was Riley. And then the Mets also, I don't know how to feel about them because they look insane on paper, but it seems like they never really perform. Like their rotation is like there's like zero holes, and then they got who they signed. They signed Waka and who was the other veteran? Porcello.
Yeah.
Yeah, they signed them too, and who knows? Maybe they pan out and they're great there. And then you already got DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Stroman, and then Matz. Who knows?
Yeah.
And then their lineup, you got Pete, McNeil, Nimmo's pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Rosario could be good. A lot of young talent there. Scary.
From 2019, okay, what was your favorite moment as a Phillies fan?
I think every Philly fan would give one of these two answers. I think personally my favorite was the second series of the season, Harper going 2 for 4 off Scherzer, and then
That was
hitting the bomb off Hellickson to just end the night. I thought that was amazing.
that
Unfortunately,
was in Washington, right?
yeah, that was in Washington.
I remember that game. I just didn't remember the stadium.
Yep, the entire right field bleachers was just loaded with Phillies fans. It was awesome. And then I think the other answer that a lot of people would give would be the Harper grand slam against the Cubs.
That was my answer. That was insane.
Yeah, it was tough.
In that game too, the fan was like Harp 0 for 3, like 330 million, whatever.
Yeah.
And next step back, like, and that's like the ideal situation. Like, what it was like 3-2, 2 out. Like,
3-2, 2 outs down. I think they were down 2 at the time.
Lefty on lefty crime.
Yeah.
Boom! Like that was insane.
Upper deck. It's amazing. And then I thought that was going to turn their season around last year because they came off a sweep of the Cubs. The Cubs at the time were a playoff team. I was like, all right, this is it. The offense is going to click. They're going to be fine from here on out. They're going to ride this into the playoffs. But I'm pretty sure the next series they came out and got swept by probably like Cincy.
For all the Harper haters out there, okay, what do you have to say with them? Because I know you're a Harper supporter. I'm a Harper supporter too. But
I think for that amount of money and the way the market's going, I think that investment was 100% worth it. He's easily at least a top 15 player in the league, or at least top 15 hitter. I know since 2015 he ranks top 10 in almost every offensive category. And from what he did last year, 35 home runs, 100. That'll play. Phillies need a guy like that.
I'm taking.
And also for him to want to stay there for all 13 years and ask for the no trade clause, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because I remember hearing that he wanted a home to stay where he could devote his time like to the fan base, to the organization, like so. And he's there to help. He's gonna help develop prospects when they come to the major league level. He's gonna influence other people to come sign with the. He may not influence, but he's gonna be like, oh, he's there. Maybe I'm gonna try my luck. Harper's on the Phillies. Let's go. Check out. But I mean, so we're moving in an upward trend towards the playoffs. I could see them being a top team in the next few years, possibly scaring my Yankee team. Not gonna give that an answer on camera. Maybe after when I talk to you, DJ. But they easily have the firepower. They have the history. They have the fan base. I mean, Citizens Bank Park playoff games are pretty insane. Insane.
I went to back in 2010. I was at NLDS Game 1 when Doc tossed the no-no.
Oh,
and
that's insane.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know firsthand that the energy is insane. So, and all right, last question. How, like, if you're Real Muto, Okay. He played good his first 2 years there in Philadelphia. Do you think he comes back? Or
I think it just depends on if they offer him what he wants. I think he'll 100% stay there. I think he wants to stay there. I know Harper loves him, and I think after Harper signing with them, I think he expects them to sign Realmuto. So I think that Matt Klentak and ownership should do whatever they could to keep him around, even if it's giving him 125, 30 million over 5 years. He's best catcher in baseball. If he's not there, who's going to be there for them? Andrew Knapp?
yeah,
That's
you got Andrew Knapp as the backup. I mean, he's not he's a major leaguer. He's living the dream, but not he's a bullpen catcher.
yeah, like
Bullpen catcher that can hit.
maybe if he plays a full 140 games as a catcher, maybe he'll hit over 200.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, I think Real Muto is by far the best defensive best. He hits for power, and he's a contact hitter. So, in my opinion, he fills all the criteria of being the best catcher in baseball. I don't see why he should leave Philly. He's literally going to be running what soon to be, if all the prospects pan out, some of the best and up and coming rotations. He's going to be manning that, going to be like growing them himself with the pitching coach and everything. So I think we're moving in the right direction for the Phillies. Is it time for a playoff push? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It is. And last question before I wrap this up. I never got the full story. How are we a Phillies fan growing up from a boy in New York?
All right. So my dad from Jersey actually grew up a Mets fan, and then he was a huge Lenny Dykstra guy. And when Dykstra got traded over to Philly, he was like, screw this, screw the Mets, I'm coming to Philly too. Yeah. And then he just raised me and all my siblings to also be Phillies fans. And I'm very glad he did, and I'm not a Mets fan.
Well, a lot of suffering here and there, but, worth it in the end, as every fan could say, hardships here and there. But the Phillies, again, like I said, we're on the right path. Again, I'd like to thank you for joining me for episode 5. DJ, it's an honor to have a good friend like you on the podcast. Thank you.
Anytime I get to talk Phillies, I'd love to. Thanks for having me. Love to do this again.
Call on you in a few years when the Phillies hopefully win a World Series. Not at the expense of the Yankees, though.
All right. Hopefully it's Houston.
Hopefully Houston, yeah. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.